little random fact that may ruin your childhood because it ruined mine. So guys, I hope you're doing well. We are another week into the Christmas countdown, which is very exciting. So I thought I would start with a little random fact that may ruin your childhood because it ruined mine. So in my childhood brain, the story of Noah's Ark, the animals went into the ark 2 by 2, yeah? And the flood lasted 40 days, right? Wrong! If you read Genesis 7:2, it says that some of the animals went in 7 by 7. 7 by 7! I've always thought it was 2 by 2. And actually, they were on the boat for just over a year, bobbing around on one boat with just your family and a lot of animals for an entire year. And we found lockdown hard. They didn't even have Netflix. But anyway, what I do love though is that the 7 pairs of animals and birds that is mentioned were for the purpose of sacrifice. And when Noah gets off the boat, the first thing that he does is build an altar and sacrifice the animals in an act of worship. And this pleased the Lord so much that he confirmed his covenant and gave us a rainbow promise. So it's all good stuff, but they didn't go in 2 by 2. Some went in 14 by 14. Anyway, got carried away. I'm gonna get started. So a couple months ago, I was in England visiting some of my best friends, and it was a super grey, cloudy, miserable morning with absolutely no sight of the sun, just dark grey clouds. And I was on the plane over to England. I don't know, just feeling super anxious and was overthinking a lot of things. I was stressing about what was next. I was just battling insecurities. There were projects that I was wanting to start up, but I wasn't feeling like I was good enough. My self-image was so low and getting to me. My brain was just so busy with earthly things. So I put on Spotify, started praying, and looked out the window. And in that moment, we came above the dark, grey miserableness, and it was the most beautiful sky with perfect white fluffy clouds below that looked so inviting. The sun was shining, and honestly, it looked glorious. I was in awe of how beautiful it looked. I was in awe of our beautiful creator, in awe of the fact that he created it for us to enjoy, in awe of the fact that to him that was good, but we are very good. It was just such a shift in that moment. And the lyrics to the very randomly shuffled song that came on were, when my world is falling apart, when there is no light to break up the dark, that's when I look at you. When the waves are flooding the shore and I can't find my way home anymore, that's when I look at you. And in that moment, I heard God say, don't look at the world or yourself from an earthly perspective. Look at it from a heavenly perspective. There was a huge difference between below the clouds and above the clouds. And Colossians 3:2 says, think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth. Paul wrote Colossians to remind the people who are being surrounded by toxic teachings and lifestyles, heresy, etc., to set their minds on Christ, because nothing else even comes close to him. Christ is everything. Colossians 3:2, think about the things of heaven, not the things of earth. And I know that we are humans who make mistakes, and it is so easy to be consumed with earthly priorities, earthly thoughts, to let social media, unwanted opinions, people around us weigh us down, hold us back, feed our fears, discourage us. But you know what? The first and foremost opinion that matters is God's. That is the one that stays with us into eternity. Stephen Furtick from Elevation Church wrote this quote. It said, if I know what God says about me, why would I give up what God says about me for an opinion of of what somebody thinks about me who didn't make me, form me, knit me, call me, bleed for me, die for me. And the caption was, don't trade what God says about you for the opinions of others. I have a purpose, you have a purpose, and I love Peter's message of hope and encouragement that we see in 1 Peter 2:9. It says, you are a chosen people, you are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light. Once you had no identity as people, now you are God's people. Because of what Jesus has done, we have been given a new identity. So don't give up, don't hold back, rise above the clouds and look with a heavenly perspective, because we have a purpose. We are his, we are chosen, we belong to God, we have callings, we are gifted, we are loved, valued, championed, created for a purpose, called for a reason and qualified by the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Hebrews 12:1-2 says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. Boom. So good. Don't look at the world or yourself from an earthly perspective. Look at it from a heavenly perspective, and look at yourself how God looks at you, with absolute delight. And look to him, the one who loves you for who you are. Amen. Well, that is what I've got for you today. I hope you have the sweetest week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.